Okay, Olds Mob fans, we are in the city of El Paso, Texas, the furthest west you can go, and we came down here to buy a 2011 Silverado with a Duramax diesel engine, leaving El Paso to go up to Roswell, New Mexico. Now, being on the furthest west part of Texas and going up to Wisconsin, it would be a no-brainer, just take an angle and go northeast. But we can't, because there have been storms. This is the year 2019, and there's been some major tornadoes that went through the Central Plains. All the rivers in Oklahoma and Arkansas rivers are all flooding. The roads are closed, so we're gonna have to go north and then go east. But you're looking at mountains, the roads are cut through, and this this truck is riding beautifully. Previous to this, we were always picking up some old sketchy vehicle that we were just going out west to pick up a vehicle that wasn't rusty. And they're 30-some years old. And one vehicle, we didn't have any brakes. Other ones, we had steering issues or leaky gas tanks or whatever. This is like driving a brand new vehicle. And it pays to go to a southern state when you're from the Rust Belt and buy a vehicle for half price, and then somebody used it, but it's still in great condition, and you don't have a rust bucket like if you were buying it used from somebody in Wisconsin. We took an economy airplane that was so small. I'm not as big as him, and he had to duck. It was just two seats on either side, and the seats were very uncomfortable. So you're in these crummy seats for 4 hours. After riding in those seats in the airplane and getting into this thing, it feels like we're in a Cadillac.
We've crossed over to New Mexico. Pretty flat right here, but the truck's going to need alignment and tires. But all systems are go up here.
Mountains all around here are rising, and it's flat. And the soil is just gravel. The roads are nice. Stop to get some water. And the temperature's beautiful here. It's a little hassle with the lock. Ingenuity. Doesn't look too cool.
It's welded.
Trust that?
Apparently they didn't trust this. Can you lay that weld in there? This bolt isn't even attached to it.
I don't trust that thing.
Entering the Rio Hondo watershed. There's a lot of grass growing here.
Evergreens, nice rolling hills, more mountains. But you can see it was rough terrain for the cowboys. So you can tell the terrain is different. We went through steep hill going up, down, and you saw a place where there was water, it was like a city, a bunch of people. Now we're like on a flat plateau. There's cattle, and we're just cruising on nice blacktop, moving along. You gotta wonder what it was like in the old days, traveling at slow speeds on a horse or oxen, or walking. You just think, how could anybody make it across? You'd have to have water. Well, we pulled into Roswell, New Mexico. Probably gonna get something to eat. Hopefully we'll find some kind of alien pictures or something, or a t-shirt we can get. Here's an old truck. That looks... You see that thing?
Yeah.
We're at a little place in Roswell. It really isn't all that much. A few places have alien... They must have some books and stuff here.
Yeah, we thought there was an alien cafe, but couldn't find it. So not really a whole lot to look at here. This is Roswell. Apparently about 40 miles out is the crash site. There's not much to see there, is there? I mean, for real?
Rattlesnakes and jackrabbits.
Yeah.
I got a large right here for you, boss.
Relic, I'll remember this trip.
We're gonna go check out the landing next and see what that's all about. It looks like the museum is closed, so we're not gonna hit it. There's some alien heads and stuff, but not a whole lot for roadside attractions here in Roswell. It's day 2. Notice that there's some body work done on this. I think this box is painted. It could have straightened some things out a little bit better before they painted it. This truck is set up for a gooseneck. He put this bed liner in it because this box was pretty beat up. But there's a lever on here you pull, and then you can slide it in there. And something happened with this door where I think the rod fell off the lock mechanism. The thing is stuck locked. So all 3 of these road trips, there's been a lot of things that these sellers have not disclosed. It's kind of annoying. But the interior is in pretty nice shape. Driver's seat feels good too. Truck is completely rust free. I mean, look at all the nooks and crannies, and looks pretty good. Get something to see if we can shine some of these plastics up. I think I'm gonna get a couple new ones of these. Maybe a couple of Correct 4x4 stickers to go on the back here just to dress it up a little bit. Here's the motor. It's running pretty good. If you hammer on it, something is vibrating in there, so I'm taking it pretty easy until we get closer to home. Here's where you add that DEF fluid, and if we do a delete, that'll be one thing that gets deleted off this truck, or at least you will need to continue to add diesel emission fluid to the truck. This bumper has like a top plate. Chrome's coming off on both sides.
For our first night on the road, we made it up to Santa Fe, checked into this Pecos Trail Inn, and pretty nice, decent beds. Couldn't figure out the TV. And they got coffee, they got all the soaps and all the little things, the place is clean. It's a lot far cry from that one that we took back in South Dakota. It was really run down, so this was nice. So we're going to go down to Santa Fe and just check out sites, because this used to be the Santa Fe Trail where people took the southern route out to California. It was safer. You didn't have to worry about freezing except further distances between water. If you went the northern route, you didn't make it past Donner's Pass, in the fall. We know what happened to the Donners. They got trapped and they froze to death. You wouldn't want to get close to. Kids wouldn't want to climb it. Everything's harsh and trying to survive. That's what they made their fence posts out of, the same stuff here. But everything you run into is sharp, pokey, scratchy, and everything wants to get you. Turning in the key for the motel room, you always run into what other people are riding. And these old vans, after the hippie microbus, they came out with this more modern version, maybe 70s or 80s, I can't remember. but at least the guy put some safe wheels on it. But these things have a hard time just climbing hills. And there's all these stickers on the back that you'll end up seeing. And the old people, I mean, they used to travel these all over. You know, see where it says, I want to go faster, just go around. Caution, slow-moving vehicle, it's floored. And this one says, I beat up 4 hippies and all I got was this stupid bus. But the tops pop up. And usually you can camp, you know, in campgrounds. But they must have had enough of camping and wanted a motel room.
This top comes up so you can stand up in there?
Yeah, there's a whole oven and everything in here. This is like a camper. This pops up and you crank it up. And it's got screens on the side.
Probably leaks.
So we are on Old Santa Fe Trail, and we just came down the whole road, and everything is made out of adobe and plaster, or whatever you call it. All the old buildings, we just passed them all up, but I just want to get a little bit of it. Construction is you know, smoothed over mortar. Everything's really old.
This house here doesn't really fit in.
I know. They mortared over it like a old house, but it has the peaked roofs. Usually out here there's no need for a peak on a roof because they don't get snow like up north. Well, this is the plaza coming into their town. See, as you pan around and you finally come out here and look at this church, it's gigantic. Probably took a lot of work hefting those bricks. Well, you'll see a silver jewelry store. A lot of stuff out here is a lot of silver. They got mines out here. There's gold mines. And that's what the conquistadors came for. They stole all the silver and gold from the Native Americans. These are religious figures. A bishop. You know, this took a lot to cast all these.
Have a good day.
You too.
You guys have a good day.
Here we are at the Stations of the Cross. We'll check them out.
So when Jesus Christ finally started to do his ministry, he was only on the preaching tour for about 3 years, from age 30 to 33. When he was at the river where John the Baptist was baptizing people, getting them prepared for a new Messiah, the heavens opened up, and then a dove came down, and disguised, a voice came down and said, "This is my son, and I approve of him." This is it. You can see this is how they had to travel around by river with canoes. The early, explorers, and basically trying to get furs and horns and stuff to bring back and show people. These elk are majestic.
Loretta Chapel.
I had friends that were Masons, and every time you went, a lot of times people just drive past them, you don't even think about them, but the work that's required to put something together like this is astronomical. All the scaffolding had to be made with wood, and you had to have pulleys, pull the mortar up, lift the rock up. It had to be slow back in the old days. I think they're pre-classed.
Many carpenters were called in for advice, but all came up only.
The chapel is said to be cabined after such a hell in Paris, and, by most accounts, is the first Gothic structure built west of the Mississippi.
It was constructed between 1873 and 1878.
solve the problem of the stairway to the choir loft, the sisters made a novena to St. John.
Cimarron.
The thriving metropolis where the Rockies meet the
Oh, there's
plains.
deer. Hey, they weren't small either. Those were big deer.
We just got 18.6 miles to the gallon on that fill up.
Well, now you can see there's still snow up on top of the mountains in some places. In other hills, no snow. And then you have these little towns. Not much to them. Just drive through it. Everybody's saving wood for winter. There's plenty of trees to chop down. It just looks like this formation got pushed straight up out of the ground. There's no angle to it whatsoever. They're just straight up and down.
They're going with 40 million years again, pulling a number out of a hat with nothing to back it up.
But all along here, there's campsites where it's just like a leveled out area and people have their campers. They pull over the RV and camp. It's beautiful. I don't know how long you'd want to stay here.
I don't think I really agree with what this sign says here. It claims it was cut by the river. That doesn't make any sense.
This was called Ponderosa National Park, not to be confused with the Ponderosa up on Montana on the Bonanza movie. But this is this kind of pine tree, Ponderosa pine. They're all over. Take a view that way.
That's up there. I mean, who knows how many, probably at least 1,000 feet up to the top of that from here.
We've been coming down a hill from 10,000 feet high, and with a diesel there's supposed to be a button you press and use engine braking, and it doesn't seem like it works, so you're continuously trying to stop because it gains speed really easy. But we got a truck in front of us to slow us down. I didn't even feel like we gained that much elevation. But man, we've been going a while. It's just constantly on the brakes. We've left New Mexico, entered Colorado, and I don't know if you can see it, there's snow-capped mountains. And we've seen enough mountains, so as soon as we hit the highway, we're gonna beeline it up to Denver to visit with his friend. This is what happens when you're on the road for a real long time. You can't find a bathroom, and you've been holding it for as long as you can. When you finally get there, do a turnaround. Now this is a female bathroom. Somebody had to really go.
Yeah, Cold Springs,
Colorado to Denver, Colorado. It's been bumper to bumper. The traffic is ridiculous here. And the one thing that you can say that really makes the trip a lot nicer is Sirius XM radio. Previous to this, when you had an old car and you got a certain distance out of that one station that you're going, man, it's this great station. And all of a sudden it starts fizzling out on you, and then you're trying to find one. All you get is like country or talk show.
This guy just rear-ended this guy in front of us.
And I can't even back up because I got a douchebag right on my back end.
We're gonna get wrapped up in an accident here, just sitting here. So it's very important to keep a good gap between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. So if this happens,
you're not stuck behind him. Damn it.
So we're in Denver here at a friend's house, and this here is probably the fastest car I've ever driven. It's got one of them.
What year is it?
I think it's around a 92-ish, but it's an LT1 that was gone over by two important induction specialists. We got all kinds of stuff on it, behind it. We're going to see if we can get this thing rolled outside.
How long has it been sitting here?
I do believe this is a Formula Firebird with that hood. Looks like we had some seed in here. I'm gonna guess the last time this ran was probably about 4 years ago, judging by the sticker on the back. But we put this nitrous on it with some bells and whistles. There's a RPM switch back there. I forget what we all did to it. It's a wet system though. And we got that purge valve there up over the hood. I think there's a LED on it too, so it lights up the boom.
Yeah.
The guy that originally had it did a bunch of work to it, like the strut tower brace.
Did you say he worked for the company?
He did, yeah, TPIS. I don't even know if they're still in business. The odds are slim, but we're going to give it a chance. I can smell bad gas just from doing that.
That's the
RPM
RPM.
control?
Yeah, RPM.
RPM window switch?
Window switch, that's right.
And this relay was probably for the whole works, be my guess?
Yeah, exactly. And
And that is a wide open throttle switch?
correct. So
This here.
Right here?
Right here.
Oh.
This electronic piece.
Oh.
You don't want to be spraying the nitrous at like idle.
Alright.
Yeah, and I know there's different jets you can get for this.
You
Yeah,
fit
it's-
them in right here and there?
Something like that.
yeah, it's
Or
adjustable,
right
like
here?
35 to 200 horsepower with the jets that came with it. But if you get an aftermarket adapter, supposedly I think you can go up to like 250 or 300 horsepower with that kit. And that's the LT1 that GM put out from between 92 with the Corvette, 93 with the F-bodies, and what was last year? I think, gosh, was it? When they went to the LS, they discontinued this in, what was it, 98?
It might be leaking fuel here, actually.
Strangely enough, GM brought back the LT1 name and for the this generation of Corvette and Camaro now.
I got to drive.
Maybe even out of that injector right there.
It's a little pool down there.
You got a lighter? We can burn it off.
We tried some jumper cables. They're kind of cheesy. Didn't work out. We did not get the Firebird running. We didn't have enough time to blow with it. It was leaking gas, so we decided to leave it for now.
One thing I will always remember as we left Colorado, when you get near the big cities like Cold Springs or Denver, Colorado, the traffic is just like any other big city. You're bumper to bumper, and then when you get away from the big city, this is wide and flat, fields go on and on, and our Sirius XM radio is just cranking out the old hair music bands, and you're lulled into we're going into Nebraska now, but you're lulled into state of just boredom, and all of a sudden, if we had smell-o-vision on this camera, you'd understand. We both look at each other in shock, and your nostrils get smashed with a smell of stinking rot that's either a human waste treatment plant or the cattle stockyards or a pig farm or chicken farm or you name it. There is such bad smells coming through Colorado. It would just look at each other and go like, did you shit your pants? And we'd be freaking out. And then you open up the window trying to get fresh air and it gets worse. And you're driving through this area and you're seeing all these motels, gas stations, restaurants, and we were tired and we wanted to crash. And he goes, no way, we aren't staying here. There was no escape from the smell. So after we left the city of Omaha, Nebraska, we were waiting for a sign that would say, welcome to Iowa, or something. But you can tell when a the state doesn't have much money because they don't even put up a sign. But you can definitely tell that the flatland is over, and now we got lots of trees and hills. This reminds me of Wisconsin. You know, it starts feeling like you're getting close to home. You can see a whole lot of action here. Every time you go to a city, like we would go to Memphis in May, it's a good bash. It's kind of like our Summerfest. And you see all these people bombing around with boats and stuff, and then there's these big giant barges. Right here you can see boaters flying around. But when you're on the river, you can camp anywhere. You know, you can beach your boat up on the sandbar, and all of a sudden in the middle of the night you hear a horrendous noise, and these barges, they want to see what's going on with the people camping out, and a lot of times girls would whip their boobs out and show the guy. He'd honk a big horn, but they just sound like a giant turbine engine, and they're really long, and they hold all coal and wheat, all kinds of grain and stuff, and then they go down the rivers. One time my brother and his friends ended up camping on an island in the middle of the Wisconsin River, and all of a sudden this guy with a helicopter and his wife, they end up landing because they could see a party's going on. And they go, hey, you mind if we party with you guys tonight? They're going, sure, that's all right. And, you know, they're all drinking beer all night long. And it was a big canoe trip. And all of a sudden in the middle of the night, somebody says, wake up, everybody. They had opened up a dam, and the water raised, and all their canoes were floating down the river. And now they're starting to get wet, and you wouldn't believe how all the crabs, spiders, rats, everything comes to the highest point, and everybody's sharing the same space. The guy's helicopter, the skids were sinking in the soft ground, and just then, okay, here we are, Wisconsin is inviting us. So all these Boy Scouts went and got they retrieved all the other people's canoes, and they got the helicopter loose, and he took off, and the Boy Scouts came to the rescue.
Well, she made her back. I got her washed up. Had some window tint work done already. Got these front windows to match the back, and had a brow put on it. But I'll see if I can get this all edited up and get this video on the tube. Thanks for watching.